What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video, and welcome to your stimulus package and infrastructure update and daily news report for Friday, October 1st. Yes, we made it into October, so happy October. Now, last night we were supposed to see a vote on that $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill. Well, that didn't happen. We got the government funded, so that's great. We still don't know about the debt ceiling, which in just 17 days is supposed to be the X date. That is when our federal government will run out of money and we would default on our debts. That's not good. That could ultimately lead to delays in things like Social Security payments. Could see delays in the child tax credit payments and other obligations that the U.S. currently has. So that's obviously not good. But the talks this morning are regarding the $3.5 trillion bill. Are we getting closer? Why did progressives not back that $1.2 trillion bill? What are they saying there? Why moderates are very upset and pushing back even harder against progressives? And what we're going to see regarding that fight. Well, according to multiple leadership aides, the vote didn't take place because negotiations are going extremely well. This is coming from multiple leadership aides. Okay? They are saying that the deal right now, they are getting closer to a deal on this $3.5 trillion framework. Okay? And this trying to get the frameworks is exactly what progressives have asked for. They want the framework, just the framework. And once the framework has been agreed upon, then the vote for the $1.2 trillion bill can happen. Here's the thing. That's coming from multiple leadership aides, okay? Democrats. However, a couple other reports are indicating that progressives will only vote on the $1.2 trillion bipartisan bill once the $3.5 trillion bill has been finalized, not just agreement on a framework. And the purpose behind that is they've seen agreements before. Okay? They know how they work. They understand the problem with just an agreement. They want it finalized. They want it signed into law by President Biden. That's what they want. And the reason for this is, well, there's multiple reasons, but one of the main ones is progressives don't want to pass the $1.2 trillion bill in the House because it's already been passed in the Senate. The problem is the $3.5 trillion bill hasn't been passed. It hasn't even been finalized anywhere, right? It hasn't been passed in the House. Then it will have to go to the Senate. It will have to go through all the issues there. And then it will have to go to President Biden's desk. So just agreeing to a framework, that's not something they want to do. They want the entire bill finalized. They want the thing legal. Now, this could either be very bad or very good news that the bill didn't pass last night and that they're going to continue to negotiate. And I say this because this could be very good because we could be very close to an agreement on the negotiation. However, an agreement on the negotiation means that either moderates are accepting the fact that 3.5 trillion is where we need to be, or progressives are saying, 1.5 trillion, that's okay. We will settle on that. I don't see either party doing either one, but that's kind of where we stand. It could also be very bad, though. Being that this vote didn't happen last night, it could be bad because it could mean the entire negotiations are falling apart. And there's not going to be a vote for a $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill. But either way, we will have answers soon. According to reports, we will have answers very soon. But here's what Democrats keep telling progressives. We hear this all the time whenever a bill is getting close to the end. It's don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good, which they're simply meaning don't let the good pieces of this bill pretty much just evaporate and go away because you want the perfect bill. But progressives say that they made a promise to the American people. They made a promise to their voters that put them into office. They made a promise, and they will make sure that everything that the American people have asked for, they will provide. Progressives are now telling centrists that they are the minority, not the Progressive Party. that the moderates, the centrists, they are the minority, and that Progressive Party, they are aligned with the president's agenda and what he wants. So, progressives actually now, according to multiple experts, have more power than the centrists. However, in past history and the previous bills have shown us that the centrists have had more power. Well, according to reports and many experts now, it's the Progressive Party that has more power. So, getting Bernie Sanders, kind of wish list items out of the way, it's probably going to happen according to multiple experts. But we will see. So, what this bill eventually costs, how many moderates we get on board to accept this, that's going to be very interesting to find out. But according to reports, we should have more updates on this either this weekend or later on sometime next week. But here's something I want you to understand. And this is kind of in regards to how soon we get a deal done. Okay? Because some say we're just days away. Others say we got a little ways to go. Well, this is what the U.S. Progressive Caucus chairwoman Pramila Jayapal had to say. She said, "Look, this is why we're not voting for the bipartisan infrastructure bill until we get agreement on the reconciliation bill. And it's clear, we get agreement on the reconciliation bill. And we've got a ways to go." She doesn't believe we are that close. She says we got a ways to go. But others say we're pretty close. We're probably days away. I don't think we're days away. I would tell you, based off of my research, we will most likely see these bills pass sometime in the middle to possibly late October. That's kind of where I'm thinking we're going to see these pass. But again, I could be wrong. So, I don't think we're going to see votes today. I highly doubt it. It could happen, but I don't think it will. But according to reports, lawmakers are going to continue to negotiate today and this weekend to hopefully find some common ground by next week. The goal is to find common ground. Not to pass a bill, it's to find common ground because right now there is none. There's too many people saying 3.5 trillion or nothing. Others say 1.5 trillion or nothing. So, free community college is on the table. Okay? The expansion of Medicare is still on the table. The extension of the child tax credit payments still on the table. Child care, elder care, right? It's still there. It's still a possibility. However, what we are hearing is that instead of seeing all these different provisions just simply cut from the entire package, they're all just going to be made smaller. That's the plan as of right now, but it's how small can certain programs be without pretty much making them worthless or useless. So we'll see. We also know that other progressives are asking why Senator Joe Manchin, why did he support $768 billion in additional spending for our defense bill? But he won't support a $350 billion per year social spending bill. And this is what some people were saying, okay? And I think this was AOC, I believe, okay? She says, "Ever notice how deficit hawks vote for record high defense spending, yet claim bills that help people and challenge lobbyists are too much? Guess which got rubber stamped and which gets deemed a spending problem?" Yeah. Senator Joe Manchin, and I'm all for making sure the U.S. is safe, making sure we have all the required, not really required or necessary equipment, right? The best stuff, great. But spending $768 billion per year on this, when many are saying that we do not need $768 billion, and reports out last week were that when the government, when the defense bill or the end of the year is coming up, and let's say we've only spent $700 billion, and then there's still $68 billion left, they don't take that $68 billion and push it to the next year. They don't carry it over into the next year. They try to do whatever they can to spend that $68 billion, whatever is left, to make sure at the end of the year, they go to zero. Because if they do this every single year, then Congress can be like, oh, they need this money. They need additional money. Oh, we got inflation, so we got to give them more money now, when essentially they're not even using up all the money that they have. Now, there was many reports on this last week. I touched on it just for a minute, but that's pretty upsetting if that is what they do. And I understand that is what a lot of businesses do, but this isn't really a business. This is taking money from taxpayers to pay for this. So we'll see what happens there, but chances are nothing's going to happen. But here's what Senator Bernie Sanders said today. And this is pretty much just pushing back against Senator Joe Manchin and Senator Kyrsten Sinema. But Senator Bernie Sanders says, 2 senators cannot be allowed to defeat what 48 senators and 210 House members want. We must stand with the working families of our country. We must combat climate change. We must delay passing the infrastructure bill until we pass a strong reconciliation bill. We will see if that happens. Right now, I don't know. But let's talk about the vaccines for a minute. There's actually a new proposal in the Senate this week that was proposed that would actually require all air passengers to show proof of a vaccine or a negative COVID test in order to fly domestically. Remember how, I think it was a couple months ago, month or 2 months ago, that we started to get reports that we could see that anybody flying internationally has to have either a vaccine or proof of a negative COVID test. Well, things are starting to change, and they're going to change very quickly. In this new bill, it's called the U.S. Air Travel Public Safety Act. This was introduced by Dianne Feinstein, and what she wants is she wants this in place by November. She says, and I quote, "We know that air travel during the 2020 holiday season contributed to last winter's devastating COVID-19 surge. We simply cannot allow that to happen again." And according to a recent Harris poll, 64% of Americans support a vaccine passport for domestic flights. They say that this is needed, and this is something that we must do. But let me ask you this. Would you support having to show proof of a vaccine or a negative COVID test in order to fly domestically, within the U.S. borders? Let me know down in the comment section below. I'm just curious. Now, let's address something that many of you have been asking about, and this is actually reaching herd immunity here in the U.S. Here's what we know. Dr. Anthony Fauci has said that we need to be about 80% vaccinated in order to reach herd immunity. Well, in Portugal, 85% of their population is vaccinated, but right now it's becoming very difficult to find where more people are at in order to vaccinate more people. What they're saying right now is that this could be the U.S. The U.S. could be here very soon. Currently, though, we're 54% vaccinated. A little over 54% vaccinated. So we got about 30% to go in order to get there. But that's the problem. Where do we find these people? How do we get people that do not want to get vaccinated to go and get the vaccine? That's becoming a problem. Well, here's what Portugal's health minister, Marta Temido, had to say. She says, "We have achieved a good result, but it's not the solution or miracle one would think." Now, she says this because there are still cancellations. There's still lost days of work and school. People are becoming sick. But she says that due to the vaccinations, the virus spreads less quickly and to far less places, which is obviously a good thing. She also said that wearing a mask will need to be mandatory until everybody is eligible for the vaccine, and that digital health certificates will still be necessary for large events and travel. And experts are saying that this is exactly what the U.S. could be in for in the coming months. My guess is this is not in the coming months. We're not going to see this in 1, 2, or 3 months. This is somewhere we could potentially be within the next year, but my expectation is we're not going to see an additional 30% of the American population vaccinated within the next month or so. Could it happen when we start to factor in children under the ages of 12? Yes, it could. But again, children under the ages of 12, right, in schools are usually wearing a mask. So they're not the ones that are really transferring this virus, across to their family members and their friends and stuff like that. It's usually older adults. That's the problem. So we will see what happens there. But as of right now, many experts say that more adults need to be vaccinated, not children. Let's also get into some COVID news though. Today, Merck & Company says their oral drug, I'm going to try to pronounce this, I think it's called Molnupiravir, I believe. This is an oral drug, okay, it's just a little pill. It actually has reduced 50% of the chances of a hospitalization or death in patients at risk of a severe disease. And according to the company, they were actually in phase 3 trials. They're going to stop the phase 3 trials because the company has seen so many positive results from this phase. And it is because of this and these compelling results that Merck & Company plans on seeking emergency use authorization from the FDA very soon. So that's what we know regarding that. But as always, as I know more regarding COVID, stimulus, the infrastructure bill, debt ceiling, and everything in between, I promise I'll come back and fill you in on all the latest news and updates. Again, I just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your Friday. Have an incredible weekend as well. I may be on here during the middle of today to provide you a midday update. Just depends if we see anything else come out. But I promise I'll be on here later on today, fill you in with an end of the day update. Again, thanks for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.